for teams that were at the top last split, like us, TL, and Echo Fox, we really need to get our shit together.
Well, it's the end of the first day of week 6 of the NALCS. I'm joined right now by Cody Sun himself. Talk a little bit about 100 Thieves. Incredibly long game. We were just talking about this with coverage, of course, brought to you by OmniSlash. So, Cody, why did that game go so long? Why weren't you guys able to close it out faster?
So I think we purposefully dragged out the game to a pretty long time, so we could practice, late game team fighting and decision making. Because if you guys remember, when we aced them, and then we went for the end, we took their Nexus turrets, and then Zach said just back because we had to keep practicing. So
okay, so you guys turned it into a scrim.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very good. Well, you got the practice in. What do you feel like you learned?
I think we learned that late game, if they outrange us with Ezreal, then we can't actually win the game. So we have to be really creative and trying to win. And then eventually, I think, one of their members just killed himself, and then we were able to end that way.
How have things been going with 100 Thieves since the roster change, in your opinion?
I think right now, or for the past week, we still had the honeymoon phase. So our atmosphere has been going pretty smoothly and pretty well. But I think definitely with the addition of Anda instead of Meteos, we have different strengths and cons as well. So I think we're all just adapting to this kind of new face that we have for our team.
Yeah. And what do you think of the current state of the NALCS? Because I've been talking to a lot of different people about this. It definitely feels like everything feels so coin flippy, right? It's hard to tell when the good teams are good and when the bad teams are bad.
Yeah, I mean, even when you saw us play against FlyQuest last week, we were supposed to win that game, and it was pretty convincing win for us until we ended up throwing. So I think for other teams as well, if today when TL first GGS, the early game was just horrendous, right, for TL. And GGS still threw that game. So I think once the teams are able to, really find that cohesion, then teams wouldn't be throwing as much anymore.
Do you think that it's hard for me because I think some teams should be pretty happy, some teams should be pretty worried. And oftentimes these teams are in the same place, right, in the standings. It's kind of this weird situation. What do you think? Do you think any team should feel good? Do any team should feel bad? Generally speaking, how do you feel like the team should feel at the moment?
I think teams that were previously in the lower parts of the standings, like last split, where I think last split there wasn't as much throws. But this split with all the change in meta and the roster switches and everything, it's been pretty chaotic. So we got teams like GGS and FlyQuest getting a lot of upset wins. So I think those teams should be pretty happy with where they are. And now they can potentially, or they have way higher chance to make playoffs and do well at playoffs even. So for teams that were at the top last split, like us, TL, and Echo Fox, we really need to get our shit together. So we can go for the top seeds for going to Worlds.
Yeah. Did you watch the Cloud9 TSM game?
Sneaky pulled out the Quinn, which did pretty poorly in lane, but ended up making up for it later. So it's pretty interesting.
What do you think of the state of TSM and C9? Because you mentioned, the reason I asked is because you said Echo Fox, Team Liquid, the teams that did really well. But a lot of fans have expectations that they see C9 and TSM at Worlds. What do you think of their strength right now? Do you think either of them can go?
I think, since they have such a long history of making the Worlds and always making the playoffs and doing really well, right now, in the current standings, it seems more unlikely that they will have that type of run. So it just seems like TSM, I don't know, they lost trust in each other or something like that, and it just feels like they're not playing as a team at all. And for C9, their roster is pretty new, I would say. So I think they lack the experience, but I think I'll probably be more scared of C9 than TSM right now because of C9's potential to like get a really good early game.
When you watch TSM, you just feel like they don't have any team coordination?
Yeah, it feels like it feels like they just play really passively, and it's fine to play passively if you feel like we're the better team for macro and mid to late game, we can just win, which sometimes we do that. But if like that doesn't really happen, then that makes it worse, I feel like. So I think if TSM wants to like try to make a comeback in this split, they should try like to play a better early game or something like that.
Very good. Anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting 100 Thieves. And, you know, I know that we have a new jungler and my friends. So hopefully you guys can give them some support and some time as we, you know, find our playstyle. And we're going to try really hard to win the split and do well at Worlds.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for the interview, Cody. Congratulations on the win just now. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel.
It's nice seeing that Omnislash is still written on this microphone because it means that at least someone's giving Travis money to afford things like food, rent, mainly to keep him off of my couch and out of my life. So please continue to help support him in doing that. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever it is that he needs you to do. Support him.